Alright, let's talk about programming languages. Every programmer has an opinion on which one is the best, and which one is the absolute worst. And the funny part? Depending on who you ask, every single language is both someone's favorite and someone else's nightmare. That's the beauty and the curse of programming. So today, let's just roast them all. If you're a die-hard fan of a language, you might want to cover your ears because I promise you it's going to hurt. But remember, we're all suffering together. Let's begin with JavaScript. Oh yes, JavaScript, the king of chaos. The thing about JavaScript is that it somehow manages to break the laws of logic on a daily basis. It's the only language where 2 plus 2 can equal 22, and nobody bats an eye. You try to make sense of it, and JavaScript just laughs at you. It's like an unpredictable roommate. Sometimes it works, sometimes it breaks, sometimes it decides to turn undefined into not a number, and you're left wondering if you're coding or just rolling dice. But here's the twist. You can't escape it. You can hate JavaScript all day long, but tomorrow when you open your browser, there it is, waiting, smirking, like, hey buddy, need me again? It's clingy, it's toxic, but it's everywhere. Then we have Java. If JavaScript is chaos, Java is punishment. Writing Java feels like filling out government paperwork. You just want to say hello to the world, and suddenly you're writing a 5-paragraph essay. Everything is so verbose. It's the language equivalent of someone who insists on saying, I am not able to do that, instead of just saying no. It forces you to type so much you start questioning if you're programming or just transcribing the world's longest novel. And yet, companies love it. Banks, enterprises, big organizations, they treat Java like it's sacred. Meanwhile, you're stuck writing public static void main for the 1000th time, fingers cramping, questioning why you didn't become a chef instead. Python. Oh, Python. When you first meet Python, it feels like love at first sight. Clean syntax, beginner-friendly, almost like writing in plain English. You feel powerful. You feel like you've finally cracked the secret to programming. Then Python hits you with an error that makes no sense. You stare at the screen for hours, only to realize it was a single space. A tiny, invisible indentation. Suddenly, you're not coding anymore, you're playing hide-and-seek with whitespace. Debugging Python feels like arguing with someone who refuses to explain themselves. You ask, why? And Python just stares back at you. It's calm, it's smug, and it just says, because I said so. See, the ancient one, the ancestor, the root of so many modern languages. C is powerful, efficient, and terrifying. It gives you direct access to the machine. You're basically talking to the computer's soul. But here's the catch, you mess up once, and the computer explodes. Forget to free memory? Congratulations, you just set your laptop on fire. Misuse a pointer? You're opening portals to other dimensions. Coding in C is not programming, it's gambling. You're rolling dice with memory management. You're praying that your operating system doesn't collapse because of one tiny mistake. Now let's talk about C++. It's like someone looked at C and said, this is too simple, let's add everything. And I mean everything. Classes, templates, operator overloading, smart pointers, lambda functions, and then sprinkled in about 9 million other features that nobody asked for. C++ is the kind of language where you can write the same thing in 10 completely different ways, and somehow none of them are wrong. It's overwhelming. It's like walking into a kitchen where every single cooking utensil ever invented is lying on the counter. Sure, you can make food, but half the time you're wondering if you really need a gold-plated spoon that only works on Thursdays. PHP, the internet's duct tape. Nobody brags about using PHP, but half the internet is running on it. Writing PHP feels like patching together random ideas. It's messy, it's inconsistent. It's like building a house with glue and hope. And yet, somehow, it works. You look at the code and think, this should not be running. But then the website loads. Blogs, shops, forums, they're alive because of PHP. It's like that unreliable friend who constantly screws up but still shows up when you really need them. You want to roast it, but deep down you know the web would collapse without it. Ruby. Now Ruby is pretty. Ruby is elegant. Writing Ruby feels like writing a poem. You sit back, look at your code, and think, wow, I'm an artist. But then you try to scale your app. Suddenly, Ruby slows down so much you start wondering if your computer is powered by a hamster wheel. It's smooth, it's friendly, it's charming, but in the real world, you can't always wait 3 minutes for a button click to process. Ruby is that friend who has an amazing personality but shows up late to every meeting. You love them, but they're testing your patience. Go is clean, simple, and efficient. It feels refreshing after dealing with complicated languages. But then you hit a wall. You want a feature, something that feels obvious, and Go just shakes its head. No, you don't get that. Go is like eating plain oatmeal every day. It's healthy, it's good for you, but eventually you're begging for some sugar, some spice, anything to make it interesting. Rust, the golden child. Everyone praises Rust. It's safe, it's modern, it's fast. The hype is real. Until you try it. Suddenly, you're in a never-ending battle with the compiler. It's like arguing with a boss who rejects everything you do. No, you can't do that. No, that's unsafe. No, you need to borrow this, prove that, check this. By the time your code finally compiles, you're not even happy anymore. You're just relieved. Rust is less of a language and more of an exam. You don't pass it, it passes you. Swift. Swift is exciting, modern, and fun for about 5 minutes. Then you wake up one morning, open your old code, and it doesn't even work anymore. Swift evolves so fast that your projects age like milk. It's like dating someone who reinvents themselves every 6 months. Sure, it's exciting, but you're exhausted trying to keep up. Kotlin. Kotlin proudly walks in and says, I fixed Java. And to be fair, it does make things cleaner and more modern. But then it introduces its own quirks. It's like leaving one problematic relationship only to find out your new partner also has weird habits. It's better, but it's not perfect. Now let's not forget the outliers. Assembly. Oh boy, assembly is like building a house with toothpicks. Every instruction is tiny, painful, and absolutely crucial. You feel like a god because you're controlling the machine directly, but at the same time, you feel like you've aged 10 years after writing 3 lines. Or how about MATLAB, the language that feels less like programming and more like doing your math homework on steroids? Great for scientists, but the moment you try to use it outside of that world, you're like, why am I paying money to suffer? Then there's R, a language for statisticians. Amazing for data, but if you try to build anything outside its comfort zone, it's like asking a fish to climb a tree. It just stares at you, flopping around like, what are you doing? So which one is the worst programming language ever? Honestly, all of them. Every single one. Because the moment you're stuck, the moment you're staring at your screen at 3 a.m., questioning your existence, whatever language you're using at that moment is the worst. JavaScript, Java, Python, C, C++, PHP, Ruby, Go, Rust, Swift, Kotlin, Assembly, R, MATLAB, every last one of them. But here's the truth. Despite all the roasting, we keep coming back. Because that's programming. It's a love-hate relationship. You complain, you rant, you make memes, you swear you'll never touch that language again. And then the next day, you're back at it. Because deep down, we all know we can't live without them.